cool. So we start the intro of the podcast. Jason, you wanna start it?
Yeah. So welcome to our first edition of our podcast. We don't really have a name for it yet.
We'll figure it out by the time we go live with something. But so I think we both got some good energy to bring to some of the South Florida real estate agents.
Absolutely, from different perspectives, from somebody that's been in the business since the 90s to somebody that came in the business pre-COVID. And
going into the crazy COVID market.
Yeah.
And then, all of our leftovers of what we got going on, picking up the pieces with, commission rates changing, interest rates changing, and
lots of changes.
I think let's introduce ourselves. So I'll pick up on that. Benjamin Bondarevsky. I'm 26 years old. I've been in the business since I was 19. I got out of high school. I sold cars and found my love for sales and phone calls, and had an opportunity one day to join a wholesale real estate company. Didn't know anything about real estate. Went over there, met with the guy, talked. The real estate sounded awesome. I went from selling cars, with $200 commissions to like, oh my God, I can sell a piece of real estate, make $5,000. Like,
yeah,
holy
nice.
shit, this is awesome. And I quit my job 3 hours later. So I did everything from working on the rehabs to making phone calls to selling properties, getting the contracts, and then got my license, got into the business right before COVID hit. The part that probably no agent's going to say, and you can hit on your experiences on this when you start talking about your start in this, but it's hard. Nobody talks about that part of the first part of your business is hard.
Yeah. Well, if it was easy, everybody would do it, even though everyone does have a real estate license.
And everybody tries to do it.
Yeah, right. And not very many people are successful. But
it's simple. It's simple, but it's not easy.
The concept is simple of doing real estate, but no one really understands the work that goes behind
making it into a business.
Right. Getting it to that point.
Because anybody could pick up the phone, get a real estate license, and sell a listing a month. That's not difficult. Anybody could do that. Anybody could go take people to go sell rentals.
Anybody could, but anybody doesn't.
Exactly.
I wish it was. I'll just hire somebody and they come in and they're getting a listing every month. Like that'd be the winning formula, right? But most people come in and you'll have 8 new agents. One of them will take off.
Yeah.
One of them will not be scared to get on the phones, not to have the
door knock somebody.
Door knock somebody. People that really want it, because after all, you're in the business of selling you.
Yeah.
So if you're just hiding in the corner and waiting for business to come, it just doesn't happen. And I think that's the attitude of most realtors is they come from the corporate world or an hourly job or whatever the case may be.
They're not used to just driving their own.
Right.
I think we're all kind of guilty of that, not to completely sidetrack from like our intro conversation, but like we're all guilty of that, of having our own like little mental things that get in the way. I'm doing that right now. It's Tuesday, right before May, Tuesday, brother. And, I brought up 5 listings, but I was too nervous to talk to my neighbor about listing their property. Crossing Guard told me that they wanted to list their house, right? I'm looking at them do sod and making the house look pretty. And I was like, man, I live right behind them. It's going to be like fucking awkward to walk up to them and be like, hey, let me sell your house. I saw the realtor that listed their house and I saw the pictures that they put. And I literally felt like the worst realtor in existence. Because I'm like, I'm 1,000 times better than this agent. I would have sold this house in a week with my marketing and my photography, and my own whatever in my brain got in the way. Yeah. So it's really like you got to be comfortable being out there and
confident.
And me, I'm comfortable getting out there, and even I got in my own way. It's a $500,000 house. I just lost $15,000.
No,
it happens.
Been there. And it's always the icebreaker. You don't know how to look. Nobody likes rejection. Right.
Yeah. And how do I break that? I'm your neighbor.
Yeah.
Let me sell your house.
Right. Exactly. Whether they think you're not good enough or they got somebody, rejection sucks.
Or it's too close. You're afraid they might see you in like your natural element and be like, oh, I'm getting perceived as not professional.
And to be honest, I've had 20 years ago, I had an immediate neighbor list her house with right as the market crashed.
Oof.
And they knocked on our door every single day.
What's going on in the market?
What's going on?
Why is somebody coming here?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I never want to list for a neighbor again, but the fact of the matter is
somebody's going to list that.
Somebody is going to list that house, and you know what? They eventually did sell. It wasn't with us, but they have.
You shot your shot at it. You tried. You know, and it's important of getting out there.
Yeah.
But wrapping up the intro section, I got into the business. I got my license. It was hard to start off. I met a great team when I was back at Keller Williams, and I grew my business off of phone calls and getting out there and getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's like the major key in this business, just getting out of your own way. Fast forward to now, I have my own business. I'm on the cusp of potentially starting a team in the near future, and just trying to take it from it's me with 2 admin staff and I sell a handful of listings every month to making this to a real business, and sharing what I did at 26 years old and how anybody could do it, because it's attainable for everybody.
Sure. And we all start somewhere. It's like when I started, it was in the mid 90s, and I was living in an apartment complex in Delray, and I went to real estate school, and the regional manager actually was staying across the hall from us. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Why get your real estate license? Come work for us." So I worked at an apartment complex as a leasing agent for like 2 years, two and a half years. You got a rent discount, and it was great. And they cooperated with realtors.
Yeah.
So a realtor would come in, and like I was making $10-11 an hour plus, $20 a rental or a little spiff there. And like I said, the rent discount was nice and stuff like that. But fact of the matter is, realtors were coming in, and you'd bring in your clients, you'd register them with me. I do all the work. I do the tour. I close them. I get them to put the paperwork done. And yet the realtor coming in would get $500 or $1,000.
So walking in the door.
Yeah, and I got my $80 for the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you're looking at like, I did all the work.
I did all the work, and this guy's getting all the money. So obviously didn't take too long where I was like, well, I need to go back and get that real estate license and start building a career that way.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And back then there used to be a company called Rent Free Realty. Mm-hmm. And that's all they did was rentals. it was very much like a regular job because you had to be there all day long. You go in, you sit at a desk. They didn't even let you pick up the phone. They had somebody in the back doing it. Was the manager and like the admin answering all the phones, making the phone calls, and they pitched every single person in. So there'd be a line of clients out the door. Now, were they all qualified? No, definitely not. But you were sitting with people and talking with people all day long.
Proximity.
Yeah. It was good practice, and being in front of somebody, asking questions, asking about their credit, asking about their finances, and things like that. But obviously, with rentals, great place to start.
Yeah.
I mean, you're building your databases, even though I didn't really know about building databases then.
Nobody does get into the business. I mean,
no one ever told me that when I was getting started. Hey, save all your clients. I was thinking it's just
email them on the regular,
one at a time, But that's not the case. I should have been saving all those people. So quickly I realized that I need to go into sales. I did my first sale there, and after I went from having a couple $100 check to a couple $1,000 check, I was like, wow, that's
like I'm never renting anything again.
Exactly. So I went over and I worked for Remax for about 10 years. Mm-hmm. And that was a great experience. No training. It was, come on in and work. And the name itself I used to just didn't have to do a listing presentation. Just walk in and go, hey, I'm Remax. And they were like, that's great. We'll sign up with you. Because Remax had the reputation for me.
That's such a weird place where we're at now, because like nobody cares about the brand anymore.
No.
Well, so what do you bring to offer?
When the market crashed, I realized how much the name didn't matter.
Yeah.
Anymore. I was like, oh my God, all the business that I did do with Remax, those people did business because they liked me. They weren't strangers. Those are people that I met out at a restaurant, or that
they trusted
you, and they trusted me. And it was just up to me whether or not I have to get out in front of them and let them know that here, this is what I do, and I really want to help you.
Yeah.
So like I said, I worked for Remax for a while, and then we had a boutique company called Dwellings Direct for about 9 years. And then for 7 years, I was with um, Exit Realty, and that was, a
now you
story.
made your great exit,
and then I made an exit from Exit over to LPT, and that was probably the best decision that I've ever made. And all the years that I've just talked about that I've been in the business, I've never seen a company that is so agent centric, that really puts the agent in the driver's seat of how you want to grow your business.
Yeah, and like, not to shamelessly plug it, but I spent my entire career from license, literally month after license, to 2 months ago at Keller Williams. And then I saw LPT, naturally as like an over analytical person, you look at all of it and you're like, there's got to be a scam somewhere. And then when you boil it down to the basis, just so we talk about brand, it doesn't matter. You could sell here, you could sell there, you could sell anywhere, and you'll still make it. It's all about what can they offer to make you a better and more empowered agent. So when I made that dive and switched over to LPT after like really running everything, like what does KW still have to offer? What does all the big box brokerages have to offer? I got out of my own way and created so much opportunity for myself, and then enhanced it with the tools of like the CRM and the print marketing and everything, that it was one of those things of, you really realize sometimes you need to dive off the deep end completely to make that uncomfortable shift in your business, to be like, holy shit, we're cooking with fire now. Like, we're really doing something.
I didn't understand what LPT was. When we were Exit, I had one agent leave and go over to LPT a year ago, and
we all made fun of them.
Yeah. I was like, LPT.
You're like, nobody heard of these people. That? Like, you're not doing any business, and you're gonna go there. Like, what the hell's wrong?
I'm like, oh, it's a knockoff of an EXP or
whatever. Oh, it's the next EXP.
I was like, come on, I've seen this before. But I didn't take the time to deep dive into it and learn really about it. And it wasn't until 3-4 months ago that I said, let me take a look at this company.
What's going on here?
And then when I did look at it, I was like, oh my God.
So I had an even weirder one. I got the same thing that like happened with you, right? I'm at Keller Williams my entire career. I'm in the office every day. I'm making phone calls. So people know me. People see me. And it's like an agent leaves here, an agent leaves there. And you're like, there's training here. There's things to set you up. Like, why would you leave, especially if you're not doing anything yet? And then I don't know if you had this awkward moment, but I saw the agents that left that did no business go to LPT and start doing like good business, right. Not just like 2-3 listings here and there and rentals, and like somebody went from I haven't made anything to I have a life out of this. And then you're noticing that you're like, all right, something has to be weird if it just went from like you did nothing to something is going on.
I think one of the biggest differences is they say you sell yourself, right? At other companies, you got to put together a listing presentation or your marketing package. And that's what a listing presentation is. You're just really saying, here, this is what we're going to do.
This is what I'm going to do for you.
To market your home, and everyone's got a digital package and all that other stuff. And a handful of people do just listed postcards and things like that. But most people really don't have a plan.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm going to do
professional photography. The P's.
Yeah.
Photos and pray.
Yep.
What's all of it? It's the put the sign, put it in the MLS, and pray.
Yeah. The 3 P's. And that's what the average agent does. And when I saw the box, and really all the collateral, that the opportunities it gives you to talk to more people.
And that's the thing. It's not a secret sauce of like,
no,
you're gonna spend $25 and you're gonna make $1 million. It puts you in proximity to talk to more people.
Absolutely.
Because it's the cheapest way of doing it. Like, you already have a listing, you spent the money because you want one piece of the marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go door knock somebody. Because if you have 50 door knockers that look that good, like, you're gonna use them. You're gonna take your cards out and take that listing card. Because think about it, I don't do this anymore. I don't have my basic card. I go to a listing appointment with my listing cards in my pocket to give them like, hey, Jason, you're going to sell 123 ABC Street. Yep. Here's 140 B Street, and like you take my card and it's my face on the other side, it's a listing. You're like, what the hell is this guy doing? This guy's weird. But he's like, shit, is he gonna do the same thing with my listing when he gets my listing? You know, it's cool.
That's really you're actually showing what you're worth, what your value is, you know, and it's tangible.
Yeah.
You know, most people's marketing plans are theoretical.
Yeah.
You know, oh well, it's all over on the internet. It's on Zillow. It's on Realtor.com.
I'm gonna put it on Facebook to my 300 friends that don't even live in South Florida.
I'm running Facebook ads, right? Yeah. Exactly. But what is it really doing?
Yeah.
You know, we're here when you're taking these marketing pieces and you're bringing it to the neighbors. You're bringing the tented cards and you're bringing them to, you know, the nail salon down the street. You're putting your listing everywhere that's relevant. It's amazing. It's genius.
Especially if you're like farming, right? Like South Florida, we have so many unique opportunities to farm specific niches. Like there's your Delray agents, your Lake Worth Beach agents, right? There's so many different places that you could farm. Having your local spots and showing up there with your tent cards, or they have the one-siders, right?
Yep.
That's strong, because then you're coming in, right? Like think about last time you were at a barber shop and you see that stack of cards and it's like the same dusty card with like, dude, I don't care about your headshot. Like, Jason, you're a handsome man, but I don't really give a shit to have you in my pocket. And like, look at Jason, he's such a good looking guy. But like, if you gave me one of your cards, there's like $1 million house on it, and I'm taking out my wallet like every guy does, and you're like clearing out your stuff, you find that card, like, who's this Jason guy? It sparks. It's not that it's like a guaranteed thing that's going to get you a sale, but you want people to think about you. I think I overheard it. I think it was last week on Motivational Monday when he was talking about taking the different pieces of it. Like if you can't go door hang somebody, right? Yeah. Rip off the door hanger and shove it into somebody's door, and they leave that in like the cabinet, and over the next years they look at it. Like, you never know. And if you do this for every single one of your listings and you hand out that stuff, you hand out 100 of them, 50 of them, 20 of them, somebody's going to look at it someday and do something.
Right.
And you never know. And then you look at the money you invested into it to what you potentially get out of it, and it's crazy.
Well, think about the amount of money that an average real estate agent has to spend to get all this kind of stuff, right? To get jumbo postcards, to get regular size postcards, to get thank you cards, to get
on top of the photography to put it
city guys, right? The photography, you know, cost. And here the company picks it up.
Yeah,
you pay for shipping, and that's like,
it's crazy.
They actually give you the tools to go out and be successful. Like you said, when he says unfair advantage, it really is. And like I said, we were an exit franchise, and we were still supposed to be an exit franchise, but when I said, you know, we had problems recruiting, just could never seem to really
provide enough value to pull somebody.
Right. I never knew what I was selling.
Yeah.
You know, and when I saw LPT, it was a no-brainer because on two levels. Because I was like, okay, as a real estate broker, right? And I'm not a broker, my wife's a broker. So, but we're the business owners. As business owners, we're trying to recruit agents. How do I compete with what LPT has to offer?
Yeah.
You know, and then I said, well, let's scale it back. Let's look at it from being a real estate agent. You know,
what do they offer?
How does a real estate agent compete with an LPT agent when LPT has all their stuff dialed
less
in?
Fees, more tech, more marketing.
The agent itself really knows what they're going in to present.
It's like horse blinders. It's horse blinders. It keeps you particular on go get business.
I would be on Canva trying to build all this stuff, give it to the agents. Take this out in the neighborhood. It's a market report. Here's a 1-page flyer.
You click like 2 buttons here, and the same thing pops out.
And with the level of quality on this stuff is mind blowing. And they don't just give you the marketing materials. It's the quality of the material that they give you.
It's good stuff.
Is impressive.
Yeah.
And I whenever I'm looking at stuff, I always try to look at it from the end user's point of view. Like, would it impress me?
The old analogy of like do everything how you do, or what is it? Do everything how you do anything. Jesus Christ, I'm having like a brain aneurysm. Do everything how you do anything, right? Like, or how you do every, Jesus Christ, we're definitely editing that part out. How you do, we're keeping it in there, damn it. How you do anything is how you do everything, right? From like the simple, like, how do you dress?
Yeah.
How do you shake somebody's hand? What are you okay with your marketing, right? Like, how many open houses have you showed up to where it's like a stack of printer paper?
Oh yeah, or just a black and white MLS sheet, and guys like, yeah, sign here and go.
Because you don't want to do the colors. You don't want to pay for that shit at FedEx when he gets them, you know? But I think it's a perfect time to transition from our shameless plug in LPT, which you could DM either Jason or me to talk about LPT. We'll talk about it all day long.
It's easy.
There's nothing to sell. And just so you know, we're not selling. This is literally like, if we had anything to sell, we would. But I want to get your opinion on something. What do you think, right, from your experience? You've been around the block. You've been in different brokerages.
Yep.
What's the opportunity in 2024 for somebody to become an agent? Is it a good time? Is it a bad time? What kind of personality do you think it takes? Because just to shamelessly plug before I go into that, like as a young guy, I think especially now with all the news and with the stability in the market, I think there's more opportunity than ever.
There's definitely lots of opportunity. There's opportunity for go-getters, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're a two types of agents, right? There's reactive and proactive.
Yep.
If you're reactive and you're just sitting in your chair and hoping that the phone is going to ring someday, it's going to be tough for you.
Yeah.
You know. But if you're proactive, if you're out there in the community, establishing yourself as a local professional, you know, using local services, the barbershop, the hair salon, nails, you know, your restaurants, bars, if you're
talking about it,
you're
hosting it,
involved in kids sports and all that stuff. If you're out there in the community and plugging yourself,
you and your wife crushing on that.
Well, thank you.
You guys go really hard with your coaching, but your wife is very, what's the proper way? Sociable.
Yeah.
Like everything she posts on social media, it's like her living her life in an organic way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you could tell when people are posting like the organic content where they're trying so hard, but like you guys go out to like grab some tacos, she makes a TikTok out of it and keeps it simple and it looks organic. It looks like somebody that went out to go get tacos and take out the phone and made it, and it makes people connect with you.
It's funny because there's a lot of that makes me uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like I want to be private. I want to have, you know, I'm not into sharing everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that I have to be somebody else. I have to be comfortable with sharing because that's part of our job. Is like when we're out that, you know, we're at Dos Amigos out in Wellington when she did that. We'd never been there before, and she's like, this place is super cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's got some cool art and stuff in there, and the tacos were pretty good. Margaritas were actually really good. They're like a watermelon margarita that was like mind blowing. So she was just having fun with it. She's like, listen, this is what we have to do. If we're area experts, right? If you work in a town, you
know what to talk to people about.
The whole point of that is I want to follow Ben because Ben goes to all the local spots, and I know that I can kind of count on you for a review or a local expert. So by her doing that, she's showing, hey, listen, this is it's a unwritten review. We're here having a nice time, having tacos.
It's social currency.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. We've gotten to the point, it's kind of hilarious because I don't think, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, I don't think we're at the point anymore where social media or social currency in general is like a generational thing. I think millennials are on it. I think you have, and I always forget what is the technical word for like before, like in between boomer and millennials, like everything in between there. People are on social media. I think it's the craziest fact that I'll put up like a 55 plus listing and in 18 hours I'll have hundreds of views from 55 plus buyers. Like that's kind of crazy if you think about it. Because if you think, like, I'll think back one generation back to like my grandparents, right? I put them in front of Facebook they're goners. They have no idea what's going on. My dad's 53, and my dad's like running through that like he's a social butterfly.
Your dad's 53?
My dad's 53.
That's so funny.
Why? Does that make you feel old?
That makes so Casey's 52. She'd be your mom.
And
that's wild because when you're sitting with other professionals and stuff like that,
like you don't realize it sometimes.
I still feel like
we're both professionals.
26 years old. Yeah, and he's like, my dad's. I was like,
holy shit! That hit for a minute. But it's funny. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I really feel that we've gotten to that point where it is a selling point. Like I told you about this last week. I have a $4 million listing appointment that I'm going to, and they're a retiring couple, well, past retirement. They're to the point that they're going into an assisted living facility, right? And bringing up some of those topics, they like completely go over their head, but they don't understand that that's the generation. That's like the time we're in, the generation we're in, where like if you're not online, you don't exist.
So I mean, you kind of have to talk to their skill level.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Letting them know that it's going to be all over the place, but and only touching on it because spending too much time. They don't have any. They don't put any value in
some they don't understand.
Right? They don't understand. They understand this stuff. They understand print collateral. That they understand that type of stuff. They understand open houses. They understand the traditional way of. They
don't get that somebody from New York could see a video of their house and send $4 million and buy it.
Yeah, even So I have an agent. He's calling for sell by owners for me and stuff like that. And we have a million buyer leads, and we tell them that we're going to send them take some pictures of their house and going to send it out to a database. And one guy is like, well, my stuff is on Zillow, so just take those photos. You don't need to come over. And I'm like, listen, but the real thing is we go over there and do some social media videos.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just a standard walkthrough. I mean fun TikTok showing features.
We show your home. We sell your home. Like that's the thing that people need to understand. They're hiring you to sell, regardless whether it's the listing or for sale by owner.
We're doing small videos to get attraction for that particular house that then leads them into clicking and going to seeing
have an emotion to want it,
the full listing and stuff like that. I mean, there's you take a video and you put it on Facebook and 25 people see it. You take it and you put it on TikTok and stuff like that.
Thousands can see
now
it.
It's thousands of people are seeing it,
liking it, sharing it.
Yep. And I know reels and all that stuff is all mixed in there. You hashtagged, right? But there's new ways, and they're not new, but they're more modern ways of getting eyes on the property. When I first started, there was no. I mean, the internet was email, Craigslist. Napster.
You're still unplugging the phone to get the computer to work.
Yeah. And back then it was Napster and LimeWire. You're just hijacking music.
You're ruining your whole family computer.
Yeah. Totally.
So don't download LimeWire. Pay $15 for Spotify.
Totally. Listen, when I lived with my family, we didn't even have computers. So I didn't have a computer until I was on my own. Me and a roommate first split our first. It was a compact computer. We went to Best Buy and bought it.
I remember back when compact existed. I remember my first computer being a friend, a neighbor, worked for like a tech company where they gave a bunch of laptops. Whenever they upgraded, they just gave away the extra one. So I got like this rebuilt Office exec laptop, and you're like, look at this thing. It's got like floppy drive and the whole thing. I mean, that's the thing. I'm 26, but I can still bring up things that are hilarious, and it's so funny. Completely off topic, like. Small age gap. I'm 26. My girlfriend's 24. There's certain things that she just is not relatable to. You bring out like Sega Genesis. Has no idea what a Sega is. VHS tapes, right? Like I remember watching movies, putting in the VHS tape, reminding the whole thing. She doesn't even know what the hell that is. She's like looking at me like I'm a dinosaur. Like it's so hilarious to put like the relativity into it, like perspective. Like thinking back, like damn, how are my kids gonna feel when I have kids? I'm gonna bring up like an iPod Nano or something like that. Like
before VHS, they had Beta. You know, beta was
reel to reel.
But no, beta was
the giant ones.
No, the giant ones is VHS, and then they had the small tapes. Those are the beta. Beta didn't make it very long. That's what.
Well, you had tapes. You had reel to reel.
That's like 8-track versus cassette tape. So they kind of went with that route, but they adapted the bigger one.
Poor 8-track died so fast.
You know, back in the 90s and stuff like that. The way we got real, you ran ads in the newspaper that they charge you by line.
Yeah,
and it was super expensive for this little black and white 3 or 4 line ad.
You're thinking out your words real good
we
with that
ran,
one.
We ran. It was the South Florida Digest of Homes. It was a big square magazine like this, kind of the paper material, like a newspaper material, but color.
Mm.
And they handed out free at Publix, and they had the stands like by bus benches and things like that. And that's where we ran a full page ad in that, and that's how we got business. We borrowed listings, whether it be from an office or from another agent from another company. We ran ads and waited for people to call us. And we had our pictures on there and believe it or not, because we had our pictures on there, back then I was partners with another guy. His name is Jason. So we were the Jason home selling team. Yeah. People like that stuff.
It's catchy.
Mine is cheese sells. That's
no 100%.
Fact. When if it's cheesy, somebody's gonna like it, and they're probably gonna call you.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Right.
You make something funny that's a little like out there, people are gonna share it. Whether they're making fun of you or they're rolling with it, whatever. Like it works. People are gonna talk about you.
Back then, you didn't have to do marketing per se every day. We did. Craigslist started to come into it a little bit in the early 2000s, and then I used to pepper. Every morning I'd put on 10, 15 ads on Craigslist, hang out for the day, and hopefully that
get the phones ringing.
Yeah, get the phones ringing, and someone was coming out there. But it's like I said, it's different nowadays.
Oh yeah,
where people find you, how people see you is different, because you have so many different avenues of getting your face out there.
The way you can show how you present yourself, what you do. What type of business you want to run.
I think people have a misconception of what realtors do.
Oh, completely. They have no idea.
And how hard it is to find that next deal and to maintain momentum. Because
not just that, but going through the one deal. Like that's some, we started on the topic of the new agent. They need to understand that, right? Like you see Ryan Serhant and like all the $1 million listing people, Josh Altman, all them, you're seeing they're balancing like $100 million worth of inventory with like 20, 30 listings. And they're like, oh my God, that's what it means to be a real estate agent. Like when you first get into it and you have your first listing and you're going through photos, showings, contract, inspection, appraisal, praying to God that appraiser doesn't ruin you, and then waiting for the title company to make your check, that feels like an eternity. And they need to understand like that bite-sized pieces of like savor that moment, that success, and learn the process, because the better that you get, the more you could carry and the more listings you could do.
Sure. And whenever somebody gets a listing, like, oh, I got it under contract and everything else. And I'm never like super excited for them
until an appraisal comes back. Yeah. You got a closing set. That's the only time you actually have a deal.
No high fives yet. High five you when you get a check.
You can ask them. Yesterday, we're doing pictures and putting up all the listings. We got 5 listings that are going to come up before Wednesday. I'm the same as if I got nothing going on. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. It's a bunch of pictures on the MLS until somebody gives me a contract.
Yeah, those are at bats. You got
hoping that we're gonna hit.
Right.
We just keep moving.
Yep.
So let's cliff note it with this. It's 2024, right? What kind of personality do you need to have, and what do you need to be willing to do to succeed as an agent today? What do you think? I think
personality-wise, I mean, obviously you have to be approachable. You have to be willing to talk to people.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people aren't willing to talk to people. Mm-hmm. They walk with their head down. They don't. But this is you. So I had my first broker. Actually, I think it was my second broker. Told me, he said, Jason, if you're going to be a secret agent, you're never going to make it in this business. He said, you're in the wrong. You're in the wrong business. If you want
that secret agent line still hasn't died.
Yeah. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if I'm out there every day letting people know what I do, talking, because listen, everybody wants to talk real estate because it's
interesting.
There's money to be made in it. Everybody wants to make money.
or have a nice house, or have the privacy, or have the lifestyle.
It's always somehow. I mean, there's times we go out and we're sitting at a Bonefish Grill or whatever out by our house, and I don't want to talk real estate. I want to hang out with my wife and just enjoy a drink and relax. But sure as shit, every single time the subject
as soon as you think that you're not going to talk about it,
sitting next to me, whether they're talking to the bartender or something, I'm like, boom. Next.
Like, I have to because somebody else is going to.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody else is going to.
Well, when you chose this profession, that's kind of the commitment that you've made to the general public and the community, is that you're going to be a resource for real estate. You're the knowledge factory when it comes to what's going on. Like I said, I refer to myself as a realtor, but I refer to myself as a trusted real estate advisor, because that's what you need. What does a realtor mean? You come to me when you need advice.
I think that's the thing that a lot of realtors don't like share. And you heard me make calls, a bunch of people that sit in hear it. It's a line they use all the time, because first thing, you're cold calling somebody. You're asking me to sell my house. I'll sometimes even hit them with them, I don't know. Because I'm calling you to see, what do you need from me? There's a lot of things that I'm good at and a lot of things that I can do. But if you don't need them from me, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm not calling you to sell your house. I'm calling you to find out if you need me to sell your house. Because if you do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the best and better than everybody else. But what do you need? Do you want to sell your house? Do you want to rent it? Do you want to rent something else? Do you want to buy an investment property? Like, I don't know what I'm calling you. I think that's something you have to be open with. I think the biggest advice that I could give to somebody, to piggyback right on the heel of what you're saying, you got to be out there. You got to be willing to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be so willing to make mistakes, because so many times, like, I built my entire business off of cold calling. I've been teaching cold calling classes for like 3 years now. Everybody always asks the scripts. Jesus Christ, if I hear script one more time, agree with me. It doesn't matter.
No, I go
say anything.
Bullet points. I like to have the things that to dial me back into the conversation, whether, you know what I mean, to know where I'm going. Have you ever been in a conversation where you hang up
so
and you're
far out,
like,
what the hell happened?
Right. I didn't even get there. So when I'm on the phone, making cold calls, and if we're calling for sale by owners, let's face it, that's not really a cold call.
No,
you know what I
mean?
They're
waiting for you to call. Their number's online.
Right. Expired. They're
not waiting for you to call, but they know you're going to call.
Right.
And what are you going to say different? Is the question.
I want to quickly let them know where my value is. You know what I mean? Like, here's what I'm calling for. I'm not. We as salesperson, the term salesperson is
such a dirty word.
That's exactly the phrase I was going to use.
So I'm not selling anything until I get hired to sell. Right. I only get paid when I sell something.
People look at us as like we're the bad guys that are going to steal their money, and but when in fact we're the ones that are protecting your money.
We're your number one, best friend.
Right. I'm the one who is going to make sure that you're getting the best deal, that you're you're making the right decisions on what's best for you.
I don't think it's dirty to say this, right? Like, a lot of people are scared to talk about commissions with their clients. I openly say it we got skin in the game together.
Right.
Because you're paying me, but you're not paying me out of your pocket. You're paying me when I provide a result for you.
Right.
So Jason, if you're telling me you're going to pay me 5% commission, would I want to sell your property for more money or less money?
Oh, always more money,
So that's always the thing that I bring up to people when you get into that point of like the listing appointment where they're going into like, John Smith said he'll do this, that, and the other for you. Well, was John Smith honest enough that he told you that, like, I'm here for you to provide a result for you? I'm not selling you. I'm selling the person that's going to buy your house. That when something comes up on the inspection, that's not a big deal. That I'm going to go sell the appraiser to make sure he sells your house for the right value. If there's an actual problem, we're working through it. Because when you get paid is when I get paid. And I feel so many people don't articulate that correctly and don't push that to their client, that they're losing that value of just not saying, like, I'm your best friend in the world, because if you make $1, I'm making 10 cents. So I want to make you $3.
Right.
and they don't get that, and they don't know how to say that properly.
No, I get that, and that they really don't understand that kind of stuff, you know. So when we're going for listings now, in even before whatever, people say, "What do you charge?"
Yeah,
and that's
I hate when I get that on the phone.
Yeah, what do you charge?
Like, let me at least build my value before you try to break me down a little bit.
I provide a menu of services, and I let them pick, and I do a 4.5, a 5.5, and a 6.5. And obviously the 6.5% listing, it shows I'm out of pocket up front. You're getting a pre-listing inspection. You're getting the home warranty. You know, obviously everyone's getting professional photography, but we're
going above and beyond.
Yeah, you're really going above and beyond. And obviously the 5.5 is a few things are off of there, and then your 4.5 is, look, you're getting pictures and you're putting it on.
It's a listing
on the MLS. And I always put the 0.5% on there extra to leave me a little wiggle room to, if I because
that person that's going to give you a 4.5 is the person that's going to try to make it your problem.
The reason why I do it that way is, I feel like I'm putting a little more control in the seller's hands. It's not you tell me how much you want to pay. That's one. Two, I'm itemizing all of the things that I'm doing. Where is the money that I'm spending, so they can see going in
where your value is,
where my value is, and yet they're still in the driver's seat on what they want to pay.
I think that's important, because sometimes, like, you'll lose a listing off of them feeling awkward about telling you that they want 0.5% off.
Yeah, right.
And then you see the person that gets that 4% listing. You're like, man, they did such a disservice to you that just to have sold your property, I would have done more.
Yeah, you know. And some of these the 1% listings and stuff like that. That's if you're a single person, a single realtor, you know what I mean? You're not paying another broker or anything else. It's just you grinding it out for your 1%. There's a business there, but it's only for one person, because there's not enough money to keep scaling. Right. Sooner or later, you're going to get so busy where you're like, I can't handle this anymore.
Personally, I have a completely different opinion on that. I don't understand the logic at all in that 1% listing. I think that in Russian, we have a saying, cheap fish, shitty broth, right? So it's the same thing. Like, if you're going to pay somebody 1%, you're going to get 1% work. And I'll bring a real life example just so I don't lose that thought. I got an expired listing on Monday. They've been up twice already. We're at 103 days cumulative on the market. And both agents took a 4% listing, and they took 1%. The property expired. And this lady kept pushing me. Well, give more money to the other agent. Give more money to the other agent. But if I'm not working for something, one where it's worth my compensation, am I going to give it 100%? And I think that's not a rude or a selfish thing to bring up.
Most of the time, though, that they have it's a 1% listing, but you have to buy through them.
But I've also noticed that people will just take it because they don't have any other business. And here's the thing: we're all professionals in this, right? And I think that's the easiest thing to articulate to a client is, if you're not getting paid the right amount, I really feel like you're never going to truly lose a listing based on commission if you're bringing the value, because that person's going to end up losing in the long run. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like, if they're going to take the 1%, they're either going to lose on prospective buyers, the price they're going to get. It's either going to expire and I'm going to get it anyway again. But I think it's very simple. If people need to be compensated to do the job the right way.
So, and when I say 1% listing, obviously a 1% listing is really still a 4%.
3 or
listing.
4.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's not really a 1% listing. If I had an agent that didn't have any business and they came in and they said, Jay, I took a 4% listing. I'm giving 2.5 to the other side, and I'm going to take one half, and they don't have anything going on.
Take it. Because it's something.
Because you can parlay it into other things. There's door knocking the neighbors. There's all the ads that you can run. You're building credibility there. And again, that's why I use the menu of services, because if that's what someone really wants is that 4.5% listing, okay, at least I know who I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And they know, okay, well, this is what you're getting. Here's what my responsibilities are going to be. Don't expect this, all these services over here.
Yeah.
If this is what it is. And it kind of, and I've never had anyone choose the lowest plan, because no one wants to be a cheapskate.
No one wants to be a cheapskate, but nobody wants to lose out on an opportunity.
Right.
And if you build it up that way with the menu, and they see like, oh my God, the 5.5%, I'm getting this,
they understand, right.
And the 4% is getting.
It's not an
pictures.
Arbitrary number that I'm just throwing out there. Going, nah, you know what? 5%, 6%.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like you got to bring this up. And this might just stem back from like my brief car sales experience. You got to bring the value in what you're doing, right? You can ask for more money if you're good at what you do, because you're going to in turn bring more money to that client. I've had times, and it's funny, I've lost listings over this before, where we either have a difference of opinion on how it's going to get marketed, where the money's going to go, what the price is of the listing. And then you notice that property sells exactly where that owner closed themselves on it, but you see something that somebody else saw like you did, and they saw another property exactly what you were thinking. And that's the thing, you need to be at it confidently. If you're coming into it like a 1.5% listing agent, you're gonna get a 1.5% listing. If you're coming into it, we're gonna do the right thing. Like the portfolio properties that had, the lady wanted to give me less commission than that. I'm listing 6 properties and I'm getting full commission on all of them because we brought value. Right. I'm selling a problem for you. You have a problem. You need me to solve it. If you need me to solve it, you're not going to call Joe Schmo on the street corner that sells 55 plus condos in Leisureville all day long. You're going to call the guy that's going to ask for more money, but it's going to do the job and produce a result. I think that you have to be able to confidently convey that.
You need to be able to talk, like with that particular client there, you're able to handle her. Whether she came in and she wanted to be the boss and tell you how to be a realtor, where you told her, no, I'm the realtor, I'm the professional.
And it's
the reason why your properties haven't sold is because
wrong.
Nobody is being a professional and giving you the real advice. If you want to work with me, this
you see all the time. You see people put tax appraiser pictures on MLS. They put Google Street View or a cell phone picture in portrait mode, and you just wonder, like, how does the seller not look at this and fire you? Like, even at 1%, they're paying you several $1,000s.
I tell people, don't embarrass yourself with cell phone pictures and stuff like that. I mean,
think about when you get like a $10 million listing appointment, and they look at what you did on 123 ABC Street with a cell phone picture.
Yeah, no, I always do the professional photography because they can edit, they can change the lights, there's all sorts of things.
Fix things.
Time. I don't have time to do all this stuff. You know what I mean? Even if I
it takes more time trying to sell the property with shitty pictures than putting a little bit of money and getting great pictures and having the property sell itself.
It's a cost of doing business, and it should just be factored into your overall.
It's a great tax write-off.
Yeah, it's a tax rate, it's a part of doing the business.
That's a great topic to talk about.
You're not meant to do the photography. You're there to market the home. Other people have to do the actual physical taking pictures and staging and things like that. That's not what you do. That's, you know what I mean? That's you're the connection between all those things. You have the expertise to advise on all those things.
I know all the people.
Right.
To put the right pieces together to make the puzzle finished.
Right. Exactly.
But that's good.
So now, I mean, the market, and so we talked about all branding and being a realtor and everything else, but to be a realtor in this time is
in our crazy market
is what is going on since, we COVID, we watched things go absolutely bonkers because people realize the value of having a little space outside, nice weather and everything else, and if you have to be
discovered the state of Florida,
if you're gonna be cooped up, I guess I'd rather be cooped up in Florida
in Delray Beach than Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly. With you know, so I mean, I'm sure it's great living there, but not during COVID.
I mean, listen, I don't think it's great living there now anymore. But listen, we don't got to get political with that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, so it's a great
interest rates right now are extremely high. Yeah. The higher than
we've
seen them.
Hold on, let's not push that propaganda train, because interest rates are where they should be at our 30-year average. They're still lower than where they're supposed to be.
So they're at 7 and change right now.
Still lower. It's supposed to be like
in 1999, I bought my first house, and the interest rate was 9. And I was stoked. I was like, yeah,
that was a great rate.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
And we need to bring that relative.
And when they came down to 7, I remember thinking, oh my God, they're
so
7.
Damn fast.
7 is so cheap. But now I think what the key is as a realtor, there's, with rates going 7.5%, it knocks people right out of certain price ranges.
Yeah,
they just can't afford that anymore, and that's why things were great before when the interest rates were so low.
$500,000 buyer is a $200,000 buyer right now.
Right, exactly. So now it's really there's programs where you can get the interest rate lower, whether it's 2% or 3% lower, and the average person doesn't know about that. That they don't know. They're waiting for either a mortgage broker or the real estate professional to tell them that.
I don't think they're even waiting for that. I think they're waiting to hear that interest rates are dropping. Like, a lot of people don't even understand the simple concept of I'll take a 7% interest rate, take you to a house.
But there's people that there's people that can afford to wait. Oh, yes. I'll wait. Yes. But there's always people that have to do something now.
Yeah.
And if they have to do something now and they're getting a 7.5% rate,
they need that agent to talk to them.
But the house they want is unattainable, but it would be attainable if it was a 5 or 5.5% rate. So it's 2, even 4.5%. Knowing that there are programs where you can get that rate down, and the key is having a realtor to point them in that right direction, because it's something the buyer can't temporarily buy his own rate down, because how it works is it's a seller concession. The seller uses their money to prepay the interest
to get your rate buy down,
to get the temporary rate.
And there's so many ways that you could go about that, right? Like, I think personally in that first time home buyer space, when you're coming correct, you have the right amount of deposits, got the right credit, there's so much opportunity right now in the new construction sector.
For sure.
Because you're coming in with your 3.5%,
yep,
plus the builders giving you 3.5%, plus rate buy downs.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some crazy where they're coming in with like 10 grand cash, plus like we'll give you 2 points on your rate buy down or something crazy.
There's definitely lots of opportunity in new construction right now.
Also,
they have ultimate control on
it's their inventory.
Right.
It's their inventory. They own the land. They own the bank. They own the whole nine.
Yeah, they're making the prices up as they go, so they know how much money they have to work with.
And the other thing that I think is very slept on is people will buy themselves outside of the market. They'll close themselves. They're like, okay, I'm not doing anything. It's 7.7% interest rate. I'm out, right? We can go find a house that's been on the market 120 days and ask for like 10, 15 grand. And we'll get it. It's been on the market. It's all about negotiating it the right way. And what happens when you get them that 10 grand? They're right back at what you're talking about. You're at equivalent to like a 5% interest rate.
For example, I have it's a 2-2, it's a villa in Wellington, and it's like 475,000, 480,000, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to do another price reduction, but instead of doing a price reduction,
offer seller credit.
We're offering the 2-1 buy down, so we could look at the bottom line. The rates are going to come down
eventually.
They're over the course of the next two years. 2 years from now, we're not going to see rates at 7% unless something weird happens. And I was going to say something weird happens, but typically when something weird happens, the rates go
drop
down,
anyway. Yeah.
Obviously we got to get
getting close to November. Something we got
to get out of this crazy political environment that we're in now. That whatever
insanity.
Yeah, in insanity. But the rates are going to end up where they'll end up. They're going to end up somewhere at 5. maybe 5 3/4, maybe 4 3/4, but it's going to be somewhere's ping pong,
low to mid fives.
Yeah. And the six will kind of be our gauge of things are
raising. What's going on?
But when rates do come down, it's going to be a frenzy on homes.
One very missed concept is if you have the affordability to buy a house right now, don't think you're the smartest person waiting.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I know we're going more agent focused with this podcast, but I think it's also important to push that both if we have any consumers watching as well as to the agents. If you have a buyer who can afford to buy something right now, like comfortably, don't be a scumbag and push somebody into a house that once they put their down payment, they got $200 left in their bank account. But somebody who could comfortably afford a house at the 7% interest rate, if you're not telling them to buy right now, you are a horrible agent. And you need to understand that you're literally a horrible agent because that person's not going to listen to you and going to wait for the rate to hit 6, 6.5, 5, and then Jason, Marcelo, everybody else is going to go out and go look at houses. And because you listen to that realtor, that house that was 480 is now 525, and you just priced yourself out again.
That person, though, I'm talking to them about getting them a rate buy down. If they're really waiting,
get them a rate buy down to build them in on the equity. Like, listen, you're gonna suck for 12 to 18 months. It's gonna be horrible.
He says, "Hey, I'm not buying it at 7 1/4 or 7.5.
What do we need to get you?"
Say perfect, no problem. You don't have to. Here's what we're gonna do. What rate would 5.5 work for you? You know,
we're gonna pitch it on every offer, and we're gonna find one that gets you the deal. Yeah. And then you refi out of that rate anyway in 18 months when it drops. Now you got the equity from the 3-4% that your house appraised plus. Or not priced, appreciated. Plus your interest rate just dropped.
There's lenders that'll do that loan. There's lenders that will do that loan, and when the interest rate does come down,
they'll call you to refi.
They'll refi it for free.
They'll call you. They'll do your appraisal and everything, and they'll call you. They want that because they still get paid. That's the thing. Your best friend, not to go back into commission, but I love pushing this. Your best friend in any business is somebody that you are paying. Because that person wants you to get taken care of.
Yeah, of course.
If you got a mortgage lender who's your best friend, he will call you as soon as that rate drops because it's good for you and it's good for him.
Yep.
Same thing with the agent. You buy an investment property with an agent, you have 50 grand in equity. If that agent's not calling you, fire him. Hire a better investment agent to help you.
And if you're a realtor, you should have a mortgage partner. You should have a couple people that are your go-to. I know that I've had mortgage brokers I worked with over the course of 25 years that they've had one of my clients reach out to them,
and they still get you something.
And then that mortgage broker calls me up and says, "Hey, so and so just called me. You better give them a call."
Relationships,
Right. One hand washes the other. We're looking out for each other,
Yep.
It's and even during the transaction, you want to have a good mortgage broker that understands that this is teamwork.
Yeah.
That we're all have the same common goal of getting that closed.
I think the best time to buy or sell was yesterday. Second best time is today.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Every market has its opportunities. You need to understand what you have and where your opportunity is in it, right? Like condos. Is right now the best time to sell? No. Is your situation the best time to sell? Potentially. Houses? Geez, always the best time to sell. Because houses, cars, and clothes, medicine, food, everybody always needs that.
Yeah.
So you keep it current with people and that works out. Honestly, my opinion coming from a very optimistic young person, I think we're in a great market. You need to understand how to present yourself, how to articulate yourself. You need to learn how to learn more, which kind of contrasts. So you need to learn more. You need to learn more. You need to teach yourself things. You have to do your own research. You gotta disconnect from the crowd and just be your own individual and look at the successes. I took my jump with LPT, right? And then ever since I got there with all the tech, if I have an idea, I immediately run it instead of thinking like, well, how will I make a process out of this? I've had more success not even being a full quarter with LPT than I did my entire last year. So you need to do. That's the most basic thing that I could carry to people is you need to just do something to get out of your.
I agree. I doing something is better than doing nothing, right?
And that carries there. You'll get consumers, like, do something if you can.
If you put some energy into a direction, you're going to get something back out of it.
Yeah,
you know, that's the bottom line. So next time, I think we got to show everyone what's inside the box when we're talking about branding and marketing, and really show them what does that really mean. You know, what separates an LPT agent from. I know we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
But I'd like to really show them, because I know that it blew my mind when I opened it up.
It's huge. Yeah. So I think we need to just leave it open.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if you any questions, any real estate things anybody wants to bring up, wants to just talk about, DM me, DM you, put it on the comments section. What you think we did good, what you think we did bad, and you know,
listen. What do you?
We're just two guys talking about real estate.
Yeah.
All right. So we're wrapping up. Anything you guys want to see on the next episode? You know, me and Jason both, we've been in the business for a while. We've done real estate, we've done sales, we've done all sorts of different phone calls, we've run different businesses.
Coached, trained, mentored.
Real human people.
Right.
On top of that, we're not just real estate robots, like we do things outside of this. So whatever you want to hear us talk about, just put it in the comments, DM us, talk like whatever you want. I think in the future, we'll pull some agents here, kind of talk with us and shoot the shit. So if you have any agents that you'd want to see, how do they collab with us? Drop their names. We'd love to connect with them. Anything else you want to throw onto them?
No, that's really about it. I had a good time talking about this. I look forward to our next episode.
Yeah, come with some new topics. So we'll see you in the next one.